Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another super cool radio interview. I'm your host, Matthew Thomas. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm very excited to chat with my guest at this time on January 27th. 12 Stones, in collaboration with Judge and Jury, released a new single entitled Golden Child. Please welcome the vocalist from 12 Stones, Paul McCoy.
How are you? Good to see you. Sorry, I'm technically inept today, it seems.
All good. It is nice to have you on the podcast. We got a lot to discuss, obviously, with 12 Stones. You guys obviously been starting off the year very hot with the new single, so I'm excited to have you on the podcast.
I mean, it's my pleasure to be here. Thanks for having me.
Of course. So I do want to dive right into the single. I've been jamming to it for the last, since it came out. It is a hard rocker. It just has that 12 Stones just vibe and energy. So I'm kind of curious, how was it, collaborating with Judge and Jury to release this song?
It's fantastic. They're next level in every aspect. We got Howard Benson that did the production with Mike Plotnikoff, Hatch and Nagaki. The rest of the guys in Howard's camp are just phenomenal, top to bottom. So it's been really awesome. We got to take a song that, like you said, has that old school 12 Stones feel. Just I grabbed the guitar and I tuned it down to B flat and just tried to get weird with it. So I was happy that everybody seems to like it so far.
Oh, definitely. It is, actually one of my favorites from you guys. It just has that rock and roll, just 12 Stones vibe, as I said. But also, I listened to the first album, listen to the whole discography in preparation, but really the first album, and that just has like same vibe as when you guys first started. It's
nice to kind of revisit that old version of me in some of those regards. I like to write heavier, and I try to write kind of what I'm feeling at the moment. So we got a lot of stuff on deck that I think are gonna make the old school 12 Stones fans happy, and hopefully make some new 12 Stones fans in the process.
Oh, I hope so too. And I'm kind of curious. So has your songwriting and the writing and recording side, has it evolved over the years?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we did our first record, I was either 19 years old or 20 years old. So we knew nothing. We had no business being in that studio. First record, we had Jay Baumgardner, legendary producer at NRG Studios in LA, and we had the awesome, the mighty Josh Freese play drums on that first record. So being in the studio with someone like Josh, who is just a master of his craft, and being young, a bunch of young kids, we were like, what? But now it's like we know a little bit more about what we should be doing and how things operate and kind of the order of events. Being the singer, it's weird because I always end up going last, so I always feel like I'm in timeout while the rest of the kids are setting up, knocking it out.
Oh, for sure. Obviously you got to get the song down with the vocal, with the vocals coming last. So kind of with that, so obviously you're the last one, to record on the song. So how is it just watching, kind of just sitting back and watching everybody do their thing?
I love it. That's why, we have some of the best guys at what they do, and it's a motivation, and it's an inspiration to me to watch these guys. They're all so great at their craft. So, working with John, my guitar player, him and we've been playing in the band together 10 years, but this is the first time we're doing a lot of in-depth writing together, because the EP that we put out in 2020 was some songs that I had worked on with another friend of mine, and kind of some B-side back burner stuff. So this is the first time we've really gotten to dive in and start, from the foundation and build some songs together. It's been a really cool process.
Oh, definitely is. And, Golden Child is just a taste of what's to come. I'm super excited for you guys. It's funny, when I saw the press release, I was like, 12 Stones, why does that sound so familiar? And I've been a very long WWE fan, so I'm like, that's
there you go. Yep. Yeah, we've been very fortunate to work with the WWE very closely over the years. This year is our 25th year of a band, so we definitely come out there with our walkers and the tennis balls on them, and we're still gonna throw down. I plan on throwing my back out every single show, but with working with the WWE has been great over the years. We got to go to the Slammys once and hang out, and and go meet a lot of the wrestlers after the show, which is pretty wild. They're so much bigger in person, man. Their personalities and actual size, they're just massive on all fronts.
Just a very cool experience. I know. Well, for me last year, actually, I got to work with Jerry King Lawler for a special event that for the company I work for, and that was just so cool. Just to, obviously just to meet him, the voice of the color commentary for decades.
Mm-hmm.
It's just so cool, and just that experience of just meeting someone who you saw on TV, just and being so nice and accommodating with everything was a very, very cool.
Yeah, one of my really good buddies, Andy Payne, 8189 in Memphis. He's just a fantastic guy, and he was on a softball team with Jerry Lawler, and it was pretty great. They became pretty good buddies, so it was cool. We knew that they were friends when we went to the Slammys, and we were sitting right behind Jerry, and he turned around and had some fun words for us on behalf of our good buddies. So it was nice to kind of feel like we were already familiar in that arena.
Oh, definitely. And so Jerry Lawler was on a softball team?
He was on an adult softball team. Also, Rampage Jackson from the UFC is also a softballist. My buddy plays softball, men's softball, and Kingfish was on his team for a while.
That is so cool. I'm just random too. I mean, I'd be curious, how was the fielding and pitching and the swinging? I'd be curious who would be the best out of all of them.
Yeah, I would. I went to one of the games, but that's back before I quit drinking, so I don't have too many memories of how it went. But yeah, I'm sure. I know I had a good time. That's all I know.
Well, I think any kind of softball thing, if you're not having a good time, then you're not in the right place.
Yeah, man, for real.
But I did want to hop back to 12 Stones now. So I'm kind of curious, for you, as we're talking a lot about the writing and recording side, do you approach recording music in a studio differently than performing live?
Yeah, I think just being able to the live show is my favorite. Obviously, I think being able to channel the energy of the crowd and kind of use what they give you and give it right back. I think there's such a powerful connection that happens between band and listener. It does for me. Even when I go watch other bands, I'm just I want to be part of the moment, and the studio is a lot trickier in the sense of trying to really emote and really trying to sing it like it's supposed to be sung on emotional parts, and the screams are always really weird to be in there with headphones on and then just screaming at the top of your lungs. It's easy in the live show, we got people arms up, having a good time, and it's much easier to just lock in and scream. And I always tell people, the live show is like my therapy session. So I get to go and scream in the face of friends and strangers alike, and not get arrested for it. So it's pretty sweet.
That is a sweet deal.
Yes, indeed.
So, but kind of with that, so how do you capture that live energy in a studio recording?
I turn my headphones up as loud as they'll go, and then I find a way to turn them up more. I mean, I feel like the more volume I can have, the more realistic it feels to me, to where if I really actually have to scream over my headphones, then I'm able to get to that place. And honestly, whenever we play the shows, whenever we're playing live, I'm able to channel that same emotion that I felt when I wrote the song, even 20 plus 25 years later. It's nice. So in the studio, it's kind of the same thing. I kind of have to just go off on my own for a little bit, get in the right frame of mind, get in the right headspace, and then I try to really just swing for it, and never want to phone it in or just half it. So we try to swing for it every opportunity we get.
Oh, for sure. It definitely shows, and all you guys release material that you go full stop with it. You don't cut corners with it. You guys are just genuinely putting yourself out there with the music.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the plan.
Oh, for sure. But I did want to also talk about the live performance side, since we've kind of hinted at it already. So you guys got an upcoming tour coming up. I believe you got some headlining shows, and you're also touring with Powerman 5000.
Yeah.
So for the 2026, 12 Stones show, what can people expect?
Chaos and loud noises. That's what we're about. Again, every live show to me is I never know if it's going to be my last one, you know. So I'm leaving it all out there. I expect the same from the guys in the band, and we enjoy what we do, and we're very fortunate and lucky to have the opportunity to play these shows. So I would know we will not take a single one for granted. Whether there's 5 people in the crowd or 5,000, we're gonna give it everything we've got, and we've built a career doing that for 25 years. We've been one of the most prolific opening bands in the last 2 decades. You know, we've been on every arena tour, every festival, and it was always our job to get the crowd hyped. So we take it personal. We take it to heart. We take a lot of pride in what we do. So if you come to a 12 Stone show, just know that we're present, we're engaged, and I'm trying to leave the stage throwing up. You know what I mean? I'm trying to make sure I give every ounce of what I got to give you, and then get ready to do it again the next night.
Going along with that, so for you, like, since you've been doing this, obviously, as you said, 25 years at this point, do you ever feel like nervous or excited before your show, or do you just like show up and rock?
I always feel nervous. I mean, I feel like some people may be different, but for me, it's always good nerves. I think I've gotten past the point of being like self-conscious of like, oh no, what are people going to think? It's more of like, am I going to hold up my end of the deal? Am I going to be able to perform to the capabilities that I expect from not only myself but the rest of the guys? I just don't want to let the team down, So for me, my nerves are good until pretty wild until I hear the intro start. Then I can take a deep breath, and then we're in it. And it's like if you're driving a race car, it's like, man, once you hit the gas, it's on. So when I hear that intro start, I'm able to just channel. I feel like most people might be different, but for me, I'm able to play a character, and I'm able to become this eye rolling crazy guy on stage. And but it's just that. It's just like it's an on stage ability to just like I can go to that place and become that person, and I don't feel any worries or anything. But man, after the show off stage, I'm like, oh, I hope you guys had fun. I'm like, it's just 2 totally different entities that you see at that time. So
It's always funny seeing like that dynamic of you see somebody on stage and you see everything going on, but then like at the merch table, like, hello, very nice to meet you.
yeah,
It's always so funny to see that dynamic, especially with like any kind of like hard rock or metal singers. But it's just so funny to see.
it's the business voice. It's when you answer the phone at the hotel. Hello, how are you doing? It's like, yeah, at that point, I'm just like, I'm very grateful. I know every day that I get to play a show, I'm lucky, and I don't take it, like I said before, I try not to take that for granted. So I know a lot of people do these expensive meet and greets, and I'm like, man, there's no charge. Like, just come hang out, come say hello. You want to get something signed? Cool. If you want to take a picture with me, like, that's cool. I can't imagine uh, charging someone to say hello. You know what I mean? I'm still grateful that people want to say hello. So, for me, I love being there in the environment of the show and taking it all in with everybody else. Like, I get to tour with bands like Power Man 5000 and Makes My Blood Dance, and I get to watch them play every night, and that motivates me to go even harder. So it's a nice, healthy camaraderie that I'm looking forward to out here.
Oh, for sure. I've seen Power Man live before. They can throw down,
Yeah.
and obviously, like talking with you and stuff, I know that's going to be a great tour and a great bill. So I hope everything goes well for you guys.
Thank you.
But I'm kind of curious. So for you, this might be a challenging question, but I am curious for you. Do you have a favorite 12 Stone song to perform live?
Oh man. It's funny. I'm looking at the headline set list right now. So, honestly, between Far Away, because that's what we open with that one. I know when we're playing that one, it's game on. We're swinging right now. So, and I love ending that song with a bunch of screaming. It sets the tone for me and kind of get a feel for what the crowd's response is going to be, and kind of like where we take the night. It all depends on that one song a lot of times for me. So Broken's another one. I mean, I know we've played it 8 million times, but there's just something nostalgic about it for me, knowing that 25 years later we're still singing the same song. And I swing for it every night. The end of that song is a bunch of screams, and man, it's that's where the therapy kicks in. And I know when I'm done screaming those lines, my job is done for the night, at least performative wise, and then I get to go and hang out and shake hands and say hello to people. So yeah, those two, the way we start, the way we finish is kind of the ones I really like to get after.
And I'm kind of curious, so kind of going along with that, I know I've heard like other performers talk about, songs they play in every set. Like, do you ever feel like with Broken that's ever like mundane or something like that, or like do you always just go with it just throughout the whole song?
Man, I love it. I mean, again, I know I'm fortunate to be sitting here having this conversation with you and talking about a song like Broken. So I know it would be easy to get bored with it if I didn't love it as much, And I think it would be easy to get bored if I didn't want to give it all I got every time we get the chance. Like I said, the next show we have, never know if my voice holds up. You never know if something, happens. So, man, if I hear the intro start and we're taking the stage, I'm leaving it there. So I'm gonna swing for it every night just to make sure that I know that if it is the last show that I've given it my all and I'll be able to sleep.
All right. I mean, I figured I just wanted to ask though, just with that, and but it's just so cool. And like again, I've kind of off and on, listened to your music just because obviously with being a WWE fan, and then obviously nowadays with your more newer music, it is just so cool to see your guys' just progression that you're still able to do this and at the same caliber from where you guys started as well.
Yeah, we try to, like I said, I'm very fortunate to have several guys in the band that are just home run hitters every single night. So it's nice to work with a group of professionals. And we don't have a crew. We don't have a team. My wife is my pretty much my handles all the business and gets us where we have to be. And the rest of us knuckleheads just try to get in line when she says to. So, I'm fortunate to have this squad that we have right now. And yeah, we're gonna swing for it every night. And guys like Power Man and Makes My Blood Dance and bands like that, I know they're gonna swing for it too. So it makes it much more exciting to know like, all right, let's go. It's we're all on the same team. Let's go win over some people tonight.
Oh, for sure. And it's always so cool when like all the bands on a bill, they're out to like be competitive of not like against each other, but like to win the crowd over and to go for it. Again, as I've seen Power Man before, and they go hard,
Yep.
and it's so cool to see. And it's definitely inspiring.
Yeah, I mean, I know for me when we started, one of the first tours we did was us, Seven Dust, and Creed. And Seven Dust is like legendary in the live performance. I always tell people there's like unknown Seven Dust boot camp that most bands of my era went through, and it's just because not only are Seven Dust legendary at what they do, but they're also amazing, down to earth human beings. And on this big arena tour that we were on, we knew nothing of what we had played 13 shows or so live before that in small tiny bars. So now we're on the big stage in front of tens of thousands of people, and every night after the show, one of the guys, usually Lejean, would say like, "Hey, I noticed y'all did this tonight. Maybe tomorrow night, if you think about it, try doing this." And I was like, "Yeah, yeah, let me take all these notes." And it helped shape us because I watched them and I knew that like it didn't matter what I did in my 30-minute time slot, Seven Dust was coming right behind me. So like it made me go like, there's no brakes here. We're all gas, no brakes. If you take your foot off the gas for 1 second, you're forgotten for that time frame. So I've always used moments like that playing with guys like Jacoby and Papa Roach and Seven Dust and these guys that like they put their body on the line for that show. You know what I mean? And I respect that. So to me, that's always kind of shaped how I approach our live shows. Is like, hey man, there's some dudes out there that are getting after it. So I want to be known as one of those dudes that never put on a phoned in show. Like I want people to know that we mean business every time we come out.
Oh, for sure. And to tour with those bands who, as you said, they are legendary. To learn from them, it's just like that's just free things that you're not not going to get anywhere else. To learn their
Yeah,
knowledge of what they did and everything is just incredible.
yeah, and they didn't know us anything. We weren't even on the same labels or anything like that. But I know when we got signed in 2001, we were a bunch of kids, and so I think we went in there and we never had an ego. We just went in there just ready to learn. A lot of our crew guys that were like guitar techs and drum techs had no history, no experience doing that, but they shut up and they watched and they paid attention and they learned from the best. And anytime any advice was given, both to the band or the crew, we took that advice and loved it and appreciated it. And some of our guys from that time frame quickly outgrew our budget and became some of these legendary crew guys that have toured with everybody you can think of right now. And so it's cool to watch the evolution, not only for us in the band, but our best friends and stuff that we brought on tour with us. And we're like, I don't care. You've never been a guitar tech before, but I want you to come on the road with me. So you're our guitar tech, And they're like, all right. And then they became legendary at their own craft. So it's cool to have the camaraderie, but it's a healthy competition. Like I got nothing but love for any of the bands that we share the stage with. I try to catch them all. Again, I just want to get out and be able to be competitive as long as I can.
Oh, for sure. And definitely, I mean, it shows with everything of, where you guys are with everything, and you guys are still, going at it as hard as when you guys first started.
We're trying, that's for sure. A lot more Advil, but we all right,
Advil and chiropractors.
Yeah, exactly.
But I did want to transition to a non-music related topic, but I've heard in previous interviews, so you participate in competitive cornhole, is that correct?
Yeah, man, I did for a long time. I haven't played much here lately. I've been quite busy, but yeah, I'm a big fan.
Like on tour, they're like the bands. Like sometimes when you guys would go on tour, you guys would be playing like cornhole together.
Yeah.
So was there any bands that like surprised you at their skills?
Yeah, man, we did a whole tour. It's called the Winter Riot Tour. It was us and Taproot, Blame Shift, Prospect Hill, Dory Drive, Digital Summer. It was just a legendary time that we had, and that's what we did. We procured some cornhole sets that were left loosely near a venue, and then we decided that every show, because show days are weird. You load in, and if you on those days when you have a crew, the band, we don't do anything. So we were, I was still drinking pretty heavily at that time, so we would all team up, and the bands would battle each other for who had to buy the bar tabs. So the winner didn't have to pay for their bar tab, and it didn't matter what band it was. There was never a small tab on a show day. So yeah, we got real competitive with cornhole on that tour especially. And then I came home and explained to my wife that I was like, man, I'm really good at this. And then she had never played before, so I bought a set of boards and some bags, and she went on to destroy me in the game, my ego, she put a hurting on me. So I realized that maybe when I was drinking, I felt I was better at it than I truly was, or maybe I needed the booze to make me good at it. But in sobriety, it's a whole different game.
So like, she had like no experience going into it.
That's how she does. I took her playing golf with me one time, and she got like 3 feet from the hole on a par 3. I'm in the woods, and and she's like, "Why'd you hit it in the woods?" I'm like, "Just get in the cart. Just get in the cart. Let's not talk about it." So she's a natural athlete. Her and I both played soccer growing up for the same club, but obviously the different sides of it. So her and I pretty much grew up right around each other in the same circles, unknowing until we were well into adulthood. So yeah, we have a lot of the same, grew up in the same neighborhoods and played on the same soccer clubs and stuff like that. So yeah, she's a natural, and she just destroys me in most things that are competitive, which only fuels me to go harder, next time. I was playing her for money in my front yard when we lived in Nashville, because I was like, man, okay, maybe if I put some money on it, I'll be better. It was not. No,
that didn't help you.
Nothing. No, not at all. It just hurt more because I had to, pay up.
That's how it goes.
Yeah.
Kind of curious. So I also did see. So you are the male vocalist in the Evanescence song "Bring Me to Life." So I'm kind
Yes,
of
sir.
curious. So how did that come about?
Well, there's a million theories out there, but the reality of it is we were on the same record label. We already had our first album out. They were working on the Fallen album, and we were up in New York where Wind Up Records was located, and we were up there having some meetings for 12 Stones. And while we were up there, the president at the time of the label, he was showing us a bunch of the new bands they were talking about. They showed us Evanescence, and they showed us a demo version of Bring Me to Life, and it just had, I think, one of the producers was kind of like, ad-libbing what would be the part. And they were telling us about all these rap rock, because this was 2002, so they were telling us about all these rap rock guys that they wanted to do it. And I just jokingly said, like, man, if you can't find anybody famous to do it, I'll do it. And we all laughed and then went on about our lives, And then a couple weeks later, I was getting on the tour bus to go start a tour with Seven Dust, and my phone rang, and it was the record label, and they said, "Do you really want to do the Evanescence song?" I was like, "Oh yeah, like, yeah." I was like half joking, like, yeah, I would love to do it, because I mean, still, no matter what, I'm a fan of music, and I thought what they were doing was really cool. So yeah, I was like, absolutely. So I got off the bus that day, flew to LA that night, recorded my vocals, and got on a red eye at like 5 a.m. to go back to tour. And then a couple weeks later, was getting a phone call to go to Romania to shoot the music video, and then we went on Access Hollywood and the Jay Leno show and all kinds of stuff. So it was a much different experience than I had making the first 12 Stones record. To then go to Evanescence and help them and be a part of that. So it's weird, like now, 25 plus years later or whatever on that song or 23 years, whatever. But to look back and see that how far that song came from just me saying like, yeah, man, I'll do it, So yeah, I'm very grateful. I'm fortunate to have able to been a part of that, even through all the adversity and the things that have kind of come out on the internet about how that process went, because I had no idea that there was any issues between Evanescence and the record label. I was just the goofy kid, that was trying to just make a mark for himself and be on things. So it wasn't until we were actually shooting the music video that I caught my first glimpse of maybe this isn't what the band wanted. But at that point, like, we're in it, you know what I mean? So I was kind of like, oh, okay, I didn't realize that y'all had any issue with this part of the song. Like, I came into it thinking that y'all wrote it specifically, and so then I'm like, oh, I feel like, and it would have hurt me, but I feel like had I known sooner, I probably would have been like, oh, well, I'm definitely not trying to like step on any toes or overstep any boundaries that I didn't know I was stepping. So here in the last several years, Amy and I have talked quite a bit and kind of been able to talk through it and have an understanding of like how it affected us both individually. And so I'm gratefully honored to be a part of it. And I got to get out on stage with them this last year at Louder Than Life and sing that song in front of 80,000 or so people. I was told it went well. I know I blacked out right before walking out there. The adrenaline was pumping pretty hard. So yeah, I'm honored to have been able to be a part of that, and I won a Grammy in all of it, and got to be on the Jay Leno show and stuff like that. So I'm very, very fortunate.
Oh, definitely. And then obviously, yes, a lot more information has come out in more recent years about it. But I'm glad you guys have obviously talked about it and kind of worked through all of that. So I'm glad to hear with everything going on that you guys were able to talk it through and still have that relationship.
Absolutely. She's great. She's a phenomenal talent. One of the best voices of this last couple decades, hands down. And so I fully understand her as an artist and where she's coming from and where she was coming from during those times. And I feel like I'm just kind of a little bit of collateral damage on some of it, but it was never personal, and I never felt attacked by her or any of the members of the band. They always treated me like a human being and treated me with grace, even when they didn't necessarily want to. So that, you know what I mean, that goes a long way on when they got put into a corner, and then here comes me just like, hey, and they didn't make it my problem. So they were very gracious.
Gracious, definitely professional. Throughout the whole thing, obviously with everything going on behind the scenes, that it would have been understandable if they weren't, but they still were.
Yeah, exactly.
It was very cool. I mean, obviously, when I saw that, I was very curious, like your experience with it. Obviously, hearing about everyone else's experience, so I was very curious of that. So I appreciate you sharing.
Yeah, of course, my pleasure.
So I'm kind of curious. So I got a couple, few of the things before we start to wrap up this interview. So I'm curious for you, a couple fun questions. But obviously, you've performed at many, obviously different venues throughout your music career. What has been like the coolest or most unique venue you've had the opportunity to perform at?
I think the coolest overall, and I think a lot of people will say this, is a little. I won't say small. It's a cool little club in Flint, Michigan called the Machine Shop. Man, they just know how to treat the bands. You know what I mean? The crowd shows up. It doesn't matter who's playing there. They pack in there. They enjoy it. Kevin, the owner, is just a legendary dude. His whole staff has been there pretty much from the beginning. So, with a place that has zero turnover, you feel like it's probably a pretty cool place to work. And we're always happy to see that one on the schedule. So there's a ton of great venues out that I would love to check out, and that we've played a bunch, Again, I've been sober like 7 years now, and we haven't done a lot of touring in those 7 years. So I'm excited to go back and make some memories that I can remember moving forward.
That is definitely very important. I've not. Machine Shop is only a few hours away from me. I've not been there yet, but every band who I talk to about that venue, nothing but positive things about that.
It's fantastic. Yeah, like I said, it's from the top. It's from the owner to every single person that works there. They love what they do, and the fans show up. And we're not the biggest band in the world, so when we go play there, they make us feel like we're the biggest band in the world. So whether we're opening or we're headlining, man, they're out. They're in full force. So yeah, I like that energy that they put out there. So if small towns, a little bit more intimate clubs, as long as they're in there, packing it out, I'm ready to get weird.
Oh, for sure. So now, last really challenging question before we start talking about the future plans for 12 Stones. But I'm curious for you, as we've said, 12 Stones been around for 25 years at this point. What has been like the album or the EP that you've been most proud of?
For me, my personal favorite is the Potter's Field album. It's the second album. I feel like the first record, none of us were really friends before we started the band. So the first record was a good foundation, I think. But I think we really hit our stride and we found our sound on that second record. I love all the records, but I think for me, Potter's Field just has that old school. It's the most down the middle version of what I think the sound of 12 Stones is. Like if I had to sum it up, I think I would just hand somebody that record and be like, this is where I would start. This is where I would like if you like this, then you can go on to through the other doors. You know what I mean? So that's my personal pick.
All right, I've really enjoyed all your discography. That is a solid album as well. Again, what I said earlier, you guys, you don't water it down, you don't downplay it. You guys are just genuinely yourselves, and that's what I appreciate.
Yeah, we just try to be real. I'm a little country boy, from Louisiana, so I only try to write about the things I know. I don't try to reach into other people's cookie jars, you know what I mean? So for me, I can only write about what I'm feeling and what things I'm going through, and hope that other people can relate and realize that whatever they're going through, there's plenty of us out here that go through those same things, and we got to help each other and work together.
Oh, for sure. That's what it should be, and definitely, especially with you guys, you guys embody that.
Thank you.
So now, as we're closing out this interview, so obviously we just started February. So how is the rest of 2026 looking like for 12 Stones?
Hopefully busy. We just put out Golden Child. We got another one coming down the pipe pretty soon. Can't talk too much on it, but we have another one that I'm really, really stoked about that's coming out here in the next month or so. And then after that, we're going to keep putting them out. I got at least an album's worth of material that I'm sitting on that It's burning a hole in my pocket. I'm ready to get it out there and get to work. I'm trying to hit the road, trying to get out there. We have our website, 12stones.com. We sell merch. We do all the stuff. And like I said, my wife is my boss lady, so she gets us everything we need and where we have to be. So if you are interested at all, man, come hang out and see us live and come be a part of that experience. And just come say hello. That's kind of what we're about, is making friends and getting out there and embracing what live rock and roll music's supposed to be.
Oh, for sure. And I will leave some links for 12 Stones description of this podcast. If they come into an area near you, make sure to see them live. But Paul, it's been incredible to chat with you. Thank you so much for your time.
It's my pleasure, man. Thanks for taking the time to hang out with me.
Of course, for Paul McCoy of 12 Stones, I'm your host, Matthew Thomas. Thank you so much for watching this episode of Super Cool Radio. And remember, stay frosty.